I believe that. I believe that. I believe that we will. I believe that we will. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. Outdoor pursuit!
The common response is I came into it not wanting to be here. I wasn't looking forward to it, and I was dreading it. And by the end, I didn't want to leave because I realized it's a lot of fun. I learned more about myself than I would have ever guessed, and I made friends that I never would have otherwise. Originally, this is the 90th anniversary, originally this class was a requirement for the entire freshman class. And I think it's ranged in distances from, I think, 7 to 14 days. So originally they were out here, it was held in June. They would actually go home at the end of the year, come back a couple weeks later, do 2 weeks here, and then go home again. And it was created as a hard skill course for learning to be camp directors, teachers.
When I was a camper, it was 10 days, okay? And we had classes on campus before we came. So it was part of like an academic class. And then we came out, and at that time, the girls lived in the wooden structures that were made from the trees that blew down in the hurricane, and the guys lived up on the ridge in tents. But it wasn't much fun living in one of those things because the logs weren't cocked between and the wind would just blow right across you all night long. And we had to learn things like lashing furniture and other things, you know. I don't really remember the other class of that. I think we had canoeing and we had the cooking, and that we had to do most of our cooking over an open fire. We had one cook stove that you got a tank of gas for, and if you used it up, you were done. You didn't get another one.
Yeah, I mean, one, I think it's a very unique experience that's unique to Springfield College. It's the culmination of a first year where students have been exploring the ideas associated with our humanics philosophy, okay? And I think this experience at the culmination of that first year particularly is a great opportunity for them to put pieces together that were disparate throughout the academic year.
Outdoor pursuits, I think, is so essential to like Springfield College, and understanding how we get to spirit, mind, and body, and kind of how we incorporate the outdoors as well as educational, experimental education, and how that applies to real life.
It's much more than living in a tent for a week, much more. I mean, besides learning to live as a group of people that you're not necessarily that close to, for cooking and getting your meals and, you know, all that kind of thing. But I think for students right now, learning that you can live without a smartphone and an iPad and a computer for a week is probably, I think, the best thing yeah, that could happen this week.
A requirement for our staff is that they've taken the course. And the first question of every interview is, tell me about your outdoors pursuits experience. What we hear in those responses is, it's always remarkable. Stories of students saying that they didn't have a good experience for their entire first year at Springfield College and were in the process of transferring out. And as a result of doing this course, made connections, that forever changed the path of their lives.
You're able to sit here and reflect and not have your phone on you is a huge aspect of outdoor pursuits. We really just encourage you to be present and be where your feet are. And I think that taking the opportunity at the end of the year to sit by the campfire, sit at Cathedral, sit with your friends and just take a deep breath and say, wow, like I've made it and I've done it. My first year is under my belt, and whether you had good experiences or not, you're able to reflect. So I think reflection is a huge portion. It's just at the end of the year. It's a perfect timing. So camp is kind of your best self, I would say. So that's just a really important piece for me, and that's what I learned through Outdoor Pursuits, is that it was a place where I've always was accepted, and that people just rally around like a group, and then they want to explore, and they want to compete, they want to do their best, they want to try new things, get outside their comfort zone. I think that all of those things encompasses what kind of East Campus is about, and it's about the people and not the place. And even though East Campus is beautiful, it's the campers that make camp.
Classes will change, and when I say that, every class evolves based on the needs of the students and society. I don't believe that the foundation of the course will change, meaning that idea of how it's taught, right? The best content you learn here is about how you learn, how you teach, you know, the tying of the knots and all of that. That happens, but at the end of the day, that might not be the most fundamental content. So those skills like the knot tying, we used to teach sailing. We don't anymore. Those things come and go. But the process has remained true, for me anyways, for 31 years.
I like to see how the students here evolve over the week. And, you know, they moan and groan when they come, but by the end they all want to come back and work next year. You know, it's amazing.
I hope they can leave with a greater appreciation for the outdoors and the benefits it has, not just being outside, but the health benefits, the social aspects to it, the development of reliance, as well as just that confidence in them as individuals.
best part for me about being involved over those 31 years is, you know, looking at the students that are here right now and not knowing what lies ahead for them, but knowing where alumni have gone over the last 31 years. So remembering those students that came through here as a first-year student like myself, had no intention of ever being a college professor. This class was the start of that for me. It was the start of defining how I wanted to teach the rest of my career. Then I look at others who, you know, came through this program. They're leading major corporations now, you know, and they didn't know that at the time either, but they were learning to lead here. It's the education of the outdoors, but also through the outdoors. That through the outdoors helped prepare them for their careers. And I get excited still thinking about the future for this group. You know, they don't know where they're going to end up. I don't know where they're going to end up. But somehow this experience will contribute to their holistic development, where they will go out in the world and be a Springfield College leader.